Hi, friends. Welcome to day 13 in our Bible in a Year reading. We are in Job 35 through 37 today, and it's the final chapters of listening to Job's friends speak. Elihu finishes his speech today, and then tomorrow we get to hear from God, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the one who can speak the truth and bring the clarity into the situation. But today we see a shift with Elihu. He goes from focusing on the suffering and just focusing on God and who God is in the midst of it, praising God's greatness and power. We see here in chapter 36, Elihu says, "Remember to extol his work, which men have praised in song. All mankind has seen it. Men gaze on it from afar. How great is God, beyond our understanding. The number of his years is past finding out." We jump into chapter 37. Verse 5 says, "God's voice thunders in marvelous ways. He does great things beyond our understanding." And as we talked about a few days ago when we had Job talking about how great God was and how he could only fathom but the outer fringe of who God is. It's always safe in the midst of our places of unknown and suffering and struggling to go to a place of awe and reverence of who God is. That is our sure foundation. That is steady ground. And if we remember, all the enemy wanted of Job was to have him curse God and turn from God. Job doesn't do that. And here, Elihu ends with a remembrance of who God is. And that is a sure place to go, and possibly why Elihu is one of the friends that God doesn't correct. When God speaks here soon, he doesn't speak to Elihu. He speaks to the other three friends, but not Elihu. And Elihu really here is just focusing beautifully on remembering God and turning our eyes to heaven. And that is where our confidence can come from, even in the midst of spaces and seasons that really make no sense to us. And it is the best form of spiritual warfare is to stand in truth, to stand in who God is, and to have that be our confidence when everything else doesn't feel sure. So comment with what your takeaway was today, and let's learn and grow in God's word together.